Welcome to this explainer on the European Commission's 2025 DIgComp 3.0 document. If you're trying to wrap your head around what this highly anticipated update actually means, especially with all the massive disruptions we're seeing from AI lately, well, you are exactly in the right place. Think of this document as basically the ultimate blueprint for building a digitally capable society. Whether you're an educator, a curriculum designer, or just someone tasked with getting your institution up to speed, today we're going to break down this framework so you can clearly understand it and, more importantly, effectively explain it to others. All right, let's dive in.
To really grasp why DIgComp 3.0 is absolutely critical right now, we gotta confront the reality gap. In 2023, only 56% of adults in the EU had basic digital skills. 56%. That falls dangerously short of the 80% target they set for 2030. At the exact same time, 42% of workers reported a massive AI skills gap. The tech is just accelerating way faster than our educational frameworks can keep up, and closing that gap is exactly what this blueprint is designed to do.
So here's our game plan for today. First, welcome to DIgComp 3.0, where we'll set the foundation. Then we'll dive into the 5 competence areas, look at measuring digital skills, explore the AI upgrade, and finally wrap up with applying the blueprint.
All right, part 1, welcome to DIgComp 3.0. The absolutely crucial thing to grasp right out of the gate is how this framework actually defines digital competence. It's not just about technical skills, knowing which buttons to click. It's actually a balanced triad. It requires knowledge, so facts and concepts, skills, which is the practical ability to carry out processes, and attitudes, your disposition to act. For us as educators, this means teaching digital literacy isn't just a basic computer lab exercise anymore. It is a completely holistic educational pursuit.
And that brings us right to the heart of the framework. The ultimate goal here is fostering the confident, critical, and responsible use of and engagement with digital technologies for learning, at work, and for participation in society. It's not just about using tech to get work done faster, right? It's about active, thoughtful participation in our modern world.
Moving on to part 2, the 5 competence areas.
The framework maps this all out using a really neat visual anchor, a pentagon. It takes this incredibly vast, sometimes overwhelming digital landscape and divides it up into 5 totally digestible domains. When you're explaining this to your colleagues or students, this pentagon is your mat. It basically proves that being good with computers requires proficiency across several very distinct territories. So what are those territories? Well, we have Area 1, Information Search, Evaluation, and Management. Area 2 is Communication and Collaboration. Area 3 covers Content Creation. Area 4 is Safety, Well-being, and Responsible Use. And Area 5 is Problem Identification and Solving. Together, these 5 overarching pillars house 21 specific competencies, covering everything from handling raw data to protecting your mental health.
Now, to show you just how granular and practical this gets for an educational setting, let's zoom in on Area 5, problem solving. It breaks down systematically into 4 very specific actionable steps. Step 1, identifying technical problems. Step 2, identifying needs and technological responses. Step 3, identifying creative solutions. And step 4, which is a huge one, identifying digital competence needs. You could literally build a syllabus step by step using these exact points.
Let's jump into part 3, measuring digital skills. So the blueprint establishes a clear continuum across 4 proficiency levels: basic, intermediate, advanced, and highly advanced. What's super important here is how they define these levels. It's all based on cognitive demand, the complexity of the task, and the learner's autonomy. For instance, at the basic level, someone is doing tasks with guidance to support personal goals. But by the intermediate level, they're tackling autonomous, well-defined tasks to participate in society. It gives educators incredibly clear, practical benchmarks. And here is where DIgComp 3.0 becomes an absolute game changer. 523. That is the number of specific learning outcomes introduced in this 5th edition. Now, if that number makes you sweat a little bit as a curriculum designer, don't panic. This is actually the biggest practical upgrade to the framework. Instead of just handing you broad goals, they've provided 523 highly granular building blocks. When you actually break down one of these learning outcomes, you'll see it maps an action directly to a proficiency level and categorizes it as a knowledge, skill, or attitude. It makes assessment incredibly concrete. It honestly takes all the guesswork out of the process for educators. All right, part 4, the AI upgrade.
This is probably why a lot of you are tuning in today. First off, it's vital to note that DIgComp 3.0 doesn't just invent its own definition of AI out of thin air. It defines an AI system as a machine-based system designed to operate with varying levels of autonomy that infers from the input it receives how to generate outputs such as predictions, content, recommendations, or decisions. Why does this exact wording matter? Because they imported the legal definitions straight from the European Union's AI Act. That means your institutional alignment and teaching are entirely consistent with European law.
Now, rather than just clumsily bolting on a brand new Area 6 for AI, the framework makes a really clever structural choice. It weaves AI throughout all 5 existing domains by distinguishing between 2 types of outcomes. We have AI explicit learning outcomes, which directly address specific AI tools, generative AI applications, and specialized machine learning interactions. And then we have AI implicit learning outcomes. These are transversal capabilities like critical thinking and data literacy that are absolutely essential for navigating an AI-driven world, even if you aren't directly using an AI tool. And honestly, it's not just AI driving this whole update. The 2025 document was heavily shaped by a few massive shifts in tech. Yes, the rapid diffusion of generative AI is huge, but equally important are the needs for advanced cybersecurity competence, evolving digital rights and choice, well-being in immersive digital environments, and the sheer competence to deal with a flood of misinformation. This is what makes the blueprint so incredibly relevant to our modern reality.
Finally, Part 5, Applying the Blueprint. When we look at the complete anatomy of this framework, the definition, competence areas, competences, proficiency levels, and learning outcomes, there is one key design philosophy you absolutely have to remember. DIgComp 3.0 is technology neutral. It doesn't force you to use a specific brand of software. It's highly adaptable, meaning you can take this entire structure and tailor it perfectly to your specific local or institutional context. So, the main takeaway here is that DIgComp 3.0 enables you to inform policymaking, develop assessments, define job profiles, and enhance the transparency of education courses. You don't just read this document, you put it to work.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.